Okay, I'm back on the Scott's 1846 build. As you can see, I have a fuel tank sitting in here, but I made a mistake. This tank is actually too narrow for the machine. I'm kind of thinking now, potentially this is the one that came out of one of the Nomas I had, not the Scott's. And maybe the Scott's did not have a fuel tank. I might take another look in the shed to see if I have any more fuel tanks, but I'm pretty sure this is actually a Noma, not a Scott's. It does bolt in, but obviously it's not the correct width. And it will work temporarily because I'm in the process of trying to clean out the original. It's pretty nasty. So anyways, in the last video I was showing the John Deere engine that came out of here. And they really did a lot of hackery to get that engine to work in this. Really a lot of stuff they did not have to do. They had the entire power side of the original harness bypassed, which they did not have to do. They put a push button start in, which they did not have to do, since, let me show you. The factory solenoid works without any issues. If they would have just disconnected the factory solenoid, ran the trigger wire from the factory solenoid to the original starter, connected up the two red wires the way they had them connected up with the main power within them, they would have been fine. They did not have to add the push button start, they did not have to add any of the extra junky wiring. They would have been good. But instead they kind of hacked it up and made it work for what they were doing, but they definitely did it the wrong way. On this side here, as you can see, the wiring is done. I actually ended up having to add a fourth wire, a constant power feed, which is this red wire right here. Since this engine currently does not have a backfire prevention solenoid, but it is future-proofed just in case if one gets added in the future. I have two other wires here actually. Let me find them again, I had them earlier. Right here. This is one, and then there is another one here somewhere. This is the one for the oil sensor, but there is a second wire that does not have power, which I'm pretty sure does go up to the information center somehow. So these two wires will just get capped off or taped together, put in probably back like this on the harness, taped, and we'll be good. Since they're not a power feed, they're basically just a ground sensor feed. It's not really too big of a deal to have them just sitting in there. I just don't want them to get caught up in the belt or anything that moves. In the future, I might put a Vanguard back in this. I do have a Vanguard that's in a machine, but the fate of the machine isn't fully decided at the moment. So I might end up putting a Vanguard in this. And if that does become the case, that blue wire will end up getting used for the oil pressure sensor. So, and the other one I think is most likely a temperature sensor, because some of these engines did have, or some of the V-twins did have a temperature sensor in the head. That this, I don't know what degrees they were set to, but they did come on if you're getting overly hot. So anyways, that's what I found out on this. It does have actually two mystery wires, which are definitely not necessarily a mystery anymore. I just won't be using them in this particular setup. But there we go. Everything is worked out on this. I'm just waiting on, actually I'm just looking around for a fuel shut off at the moment to put in here. Once I find that, that will go in place, and then I will get the fuel system finished up on this. This is ready to run. The tank will probably take a couple days to fully clean up. It's pretty nasty inside. I would like to use the original tank just because it is the correct size. It does need to be repaired, but it should work in the end. So I'll talk to them later. Please keep it redneck like always, and please subscribe, comment.